and welcome to Final Fights presented by Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Mad Dog Hoffmeyer, and joining me is Megan the Honey Badger Hoffmeyer.
Ooh.
You like that?
I do.
Would you rather be Mad Dog or Honey Badger?
I mean, Mad Dog has such good The Raid vibes.
Yeah. Oh, Mad Dog.
Right?
Yeah. Who would win?
Oh.
Mad Dog or a honey Badger his size?
Oh gosh, I don't know, that's close.
They would take over the world if the two of them teamed up.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine Mad Dog did that.
That would be frightening.
That should be in John Wick 4. Mad Dog's already been in it, but they should just bring in a honey badger.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Put Scott Adkins.
They had dogs.
Yeah. Oh, put
Move
Scott
on to honey
Adkins
badgers.
in a honey badger outfit.
Oh, I thought you were going to suggest something along the lines of The Lobster, where they take his spirit and put it in Honey Badger.
Oh, man, that'd be a great movie.
That would be
like,
insane.
you know, Homeward Bound, instead it's like Honey Badger Revenge, where
God.
Scott Adkins' spirit is inside of a honey badger on a quest for revenge against the poachers who killed his family.
That'd be terrifying.
This movie needs to be made.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, okay. First, I want to say thank you, because the first ever episode of Movies, Final Fights, we talked about The Night Comes For Us, and that's one of our favorite action movies. Now, I mean, we're not done with Final Fights, but now, years later, we're talking about the final fight between Doug Glatt and Ross Rhea in the 2011 film Goon.
Classic.
That I love.
You talk about this movie all the time.
And this isn't one of those, like, oh, I love it, like, hyperbole. I love this movie.
No, you love it. You talk about it all the time.
I once told Jay Baruchel that Doug Glatt was like my Lloyd Dobler.
Wow.
Yeah.
You told Jay Baruchel that?
Yeah. He was doing an AMA. And
That's cool.
I've never participated in any Ask Me Anythings before on Reddit, but he was there to talk about Goon 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I have to get a comment in. And so I went on there. I'm like, listen, Doug Glatt is one of the rare, nice people of cinema that can also pulverize faces.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what I love about this final fight, when Ross Rhea looks at him and he goes, kid, you ready? Doug Glatt goes, yes. Thank you for asking.
He says it so straightforward and earnestly, too.
And he's not a dumb character. He's just a good dude who wants to fight. He's just super earnest.
I thought, when you first said you told Jay that, I thought you were referring to Jay Cluett, your co-host on... and I got a little thrown off that you mentioned actual Jay Baruchel, so that's pretty cool.
I had to, because I love this movie.
Yeah.
I quote this a lot. I like Eva in this. Like, I like Allison Pill. I mean, just everybody, everything about this movie. I like this movie so much. I like
the coaches,
Goon
the teammates.
2. Kim Coates.
Oh, Kim Coates
is a coach in this movie.
He's crazy.
And his name is Ronnie. All right. So, and also, before we get going into one of my favorite movies and one of my favorite final fights, I want you to know that. So the stunt coordinator, his name is Steve Lukescu. He worked on The Shape of Water. He was a stunt coordinator for The Shape of Water.
Random.
Oscar-winning Best Picture film.
Cool.
But Seann William Scott's stunt double, Dan Skeen, has been the stunt double for Fassbender, Keanu Reeves.
Oh, wow. Fassbender does a lot.
He was the stunt coordinator. He got bumped up to Goon, the Last of the Enforcers. But you're going to love this. He was the stunt coordinator, stunt coordinator on Nobody.
Oh my gosh, I love that movie.
The 2021 amazing action film.
I'm seriously at work all the time. Like, have you watched Nobody yet? You should watch Nobody. It's one of those memes. Nobody could ask me anything, and I would be like, have you watched Nobody? Because you need to.
Yeah, Nobody, me. And this guy...
I should do that online.
Seann William Scott's...
Make it a thing.
Please do. Let's do it. I'll put it on MFF.
Okay.
Do it. Yeah, make it tomorrow. So yeah, so you got Dansky, but this guy was his stunt double. Now he's the stunt coordinator on Nobody.
I mean, that movie's a lot of fighting, intense. I mean, it makes sense after watching this final fight several times, as we have done.
And also, I love that Ross Rhea, Liev Schreiber's stunt double, Anders Stone, is also in Nobody. So he's also busting heads in this, and he's in The Ice Road.
I mean, that movie's a bunch of stunt guys, right? Nobody.
Yeah, it's
like Stunt Guy City.
Well, because I was like, what's more than Stunt Guy City? Like, it's Stunt Guy Nation?
Yeah.
Stunt Guy Country?
Sure.
Because the villainess was every stunt person in Korea. John Wick was just every stunt person in the planet.
No Country for Stuntmen.
And then Nobody, yeah.
No, actually, that's the plot of Nobody. No Country for Stuntmen.
That's right. oh man, just getting revenge, wiping people out. But yeah, our Seann William Scott's stunt double went on to do Goon Lost Enforcers, stunt coordinator, and then Nobody. And we always bring up stunt coordinators. We always bring up fight coordinators because...
it's very important, final fights.
We're talking about final fights. Yeah. We have to. And so the stunt team
on this... make or break the awesomeness of these fights, really.
100%.
Or they break it with their fists.
Oh, or they break a camera if they miss a punch.
Yeah, or it's some teeth.
How many punches do you think were landed in this fight?
Oh my gosh, I saw you counting, and I just... Woof. Let's see, maybe... 100.
65.
That's up there.
So it's nothing but just head punches. But then Doug falls, 3 get landed, and then eventually Doug switches hands and then knocks out Ross Rhea.
So what I love about the way this fight starts is that they just come out of the boxes and they immediately go at it. They, as you made me write down, spin helmet. Liev Schreiber takes off his helmet and lets it spin across the ice. And there's no music. They just start punching. It is punching for... How long do they punch for?
So they swing for like a minute.
It's
just
crazy.
Bopping each other.
When do you see that?
Never. And we get this beautiful wide shot, too, that sets it up. Mm-hmm. And also, I've watched this movie so many times. But it always is stressful because this is what it builds towards. I mean, the beginning of this film is Ross Rhea punching a guy's lights out and his tooth falls. Another guy's tooth falls out. This fight ends with Ross Rhea's tooth flying out. And him smiling. I
love how much fun Liev is having in this movie. He is constantly smiling as he delivers his lines. So we've watched nearly all of Ray Donovan, and he never looks like he's having this much fun in that show. As high quality as it is, as much as people love it, he is having so much fun in Goon as his character. It's just crazy.
I feel like everybody in this movie loved their characters because they all came back for the sequel. Mm-hmm. I think if you hate the movie, you don't get the exact same cast back.
I love his smile at the end of the fight, too. Yeah. When he realizes that Doug punched him out, he got his tooth. Doug did it. He switched hands. He really came and brought the pain to that fight. And it just makes him happy.
Yeah, I lost, but I lost a fair fight. I mean, I love what he says to Doug. So it's really funny. If you listen to this commentary to this movie, it's Jay Baruchel and director...
As a writer.
Michael Dowse. Yeah, he wrote the movie, Jay Baruchel. He's also Pat, who you either hate him or you love him.
Very foul.
But, or Michael Dowse. But their commentary is kind of hilarious because they're just dropping F-bombs the whole time.
But they drop some good knowledge, too.
But I like the diner scene. He's like, I've watched Heat 45 times, and that's the way I wanted to play this. But they also said, he's like, you hire awesome people that know exactly what they're doing. And they also said that in this movie, Ross Rhea is like the shark in Jaws. Like
yeah.
Well, I guess the long story, everything builds to this because Ross Rhea is the guy who wipes out Xavier Laflamme. Like, he just wipes him out. So then they bring in Doug Glatt to be the enforcer to protect him, to get his confidence back. And it leads to this beautiful diner scene where Liev Schreiber is just on fire. Like, you got it. You got the stuff, kid. You got my respect. But if I will meet you, I will put you down.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there jumping up in the air. I had you up in the air when we watched it in 2011 because I was a lot stronger.
And I had the cats up in the air.
It was just a pyramid of things in the air.
Yeah.
A cat had a mouse in the air.
Exactly.
The mouse had a cockroach.
Piece of cheese
in there. And all that piece of cheese were ants.
Oh no.
It was a whole thing. But I just love the build up to this fight. And then, like you said, the wide shot, and then they just start beating the tar out of each other with no soundtrack.
Yeah, no orchestration comes in until the point where Liev says he's not done yet, and Doug gets back up and they do the thing where they're holding jerseys, and that's when the music starts. Oh, yeah.
And the funniest part about this commentary is, so Puccini's Turandot comes on, and Baruchel thought it was public domain, and it would have, but Puccini died before it was the
opera was finished.
The opera was completed, so someone came in and finished it 3 years later.
That is crazy.
So then that put it into the public domain by about 3 years. So the one piece of music that Baruchel really wanted was the one piece of Puccini that wasn't in the public domain. And so I'm not going to say what they said on the commentary, but Michael Dowse was like, yeah, we had to pay out the bleep for it. But it still works, though, because it's very dramatic music, but this movie has earned it. I mean, Ross Rhea, I don't even consider him to be a villain. He is just a guy who's...
He's like tough love, sort of.
But you know what? Like, he's been there, done that. He's jaded. He knows people just want to see him bleed, make other people bleed. Mm-hmm. He's just lost his love of hockey. He just plays for money and to beat people up.
You kind of know exactly who he is. So, can you blame him?
Yeah, people just want him to bleed. Mm-hmm. And then I just love him stepping up against Doug. And what I like most about this fight, too, is it's not... They play it really bloody. And Doug Glatt gets the snot beat out of him in the beginning of this thing. I mean, Doug Glatt probably... Oh,
yeah. No, it is bad.
Doug lands about 15 punches to...
And there's the crunchy ankle noise.
When his ankle shatters, and then he puts his fist on the ice to pick himself back up. Gosh. And then just the knockout of Liev Schreiber.
Oh, the sound effects are almost too much.
And I like all the cutaways, too, because Eva and Doug Glatt have such a great relationship. I love Allison Pill in this movie. You make me want to stop sleeping with so many dudes. One of the best lines in the last 10 years. I don't know why it's so funny, but it gets me. But just watching, like, just it all build to this. And I love this. This is like 81% on Rotten Tomatoes. People love this movie. And that makes me so happy that people love it. But this is a good fight.
You know who else loves it? During the fight, Doug's team is slapping the boards. They are just fully in there for him. They support him. It's great watching that support. And then at the end, the coach, Kim Coates, Ronnie, he yells at Doug as he goes down the tunnel, "You effing did it. Yeah. You did it."
Yeah.
And he's just so proud. And they rallied around him. He brought down...
Ross Rhea.
Yeah.
And, the 65 camera setups it took for this, there was 120 shots.
Oh my gosh.
Involved in shooting this. But I still think, like, and even the build up into it, too, where during the game, Ross Rhea suckers Doug. Because Doug's very earnest, so yeah, Ross tricks him.
He goes into this. His face is already quite beat up.
Mm-hmm. Because of Eva's boyfriend punching him in the face. And he ate a puck to the face. Oof. Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah, he looks rough going into this fight.
Mm-hmm. And he gets tricked in the penalty box. And then I love when he hits when Ross Rhea is messing with Xavier Laflamme and Doug whomps him. And he's like, "That was dirty, Doug. I didn't like that." Like he's just getting into Doug's head. And Doug, he lets him have it. But then eventually they get in the booth. It's in the third quarter of this thing. And then it all goes, the coaches look at each other. Ross and Doug look at each other.
And they tell the refs, they say, "Don't you dare." And they go out on the ice and they throw down.
You don't mess with Ross Rhea.
Probably not.
So I have a question for you. So in this, I think Liev Schreiber is 100% believable. I mean, he's a big dude, 6 foot plus.
Oh, yeah.
Just the handlebar mustache, 3 different colors. I mean, the guy looks like he would just put I don't know. I could see him knocking out a T-Rex.
This long, unkempt hair, this just shit-kicking grin on his face.
Up at 3 a.m. before a game. Like, he's just a guy, beautiful, believable. But what do you feel about Seann William Scott's fighter in Goon? I mean, I'm just dropping this on you, but I think he balances earnest with not totally dumb. I think it's a tight rope that he walks of not seeming too dumb, not seeming too violent, not seeming like overly earnest. He's just a nice dude. Like,
I think he's very straightforward and he's earnest, and often that can be taken for someone who's dumb. So him just being sort of earnest, really, it does its job.
Do you think his parents did a number on him too? Because he's like, "I'm stupid." He says, "I'm stupid" to them, but I think they've made him believe that he's stupid, but he's actually just a nice dude.
I think that's completely plausible.
And also, do you think since we are both former bouncers, I like Doug a lot more?
Of course.
Okay, so when this fight gets going on, like, you like, "Kid, you ready?" "Yes, thank you for asking." They get on the ice with that wide shot, and they just start smashing each other.
Well, mostly Doug is getting smashed in the beginning. It is hard to watch. I mean, his girlfriend, his brother, they both have their hands all over their mouths, just... Come on, Doug. It's hard to watch at first.
And just, why do you think Ray gets the better of him? Just been doing it longer? Like,
probably.
More tactical?
Experience.
Doug Glatt doesn't have a strategy, does he? Ross Rhea does.